Skrillex has numerous unreleased tracks. In fact, probably 90% of the music he has ever made is either unreleased or never to be released. But among all the, at this point, well-known and notorious unreleased tracks such as Jurassic, Bug Hunt, Battlefield, True Gangsters, the ISOxo collabs, for me, the most interesting and my favourite unreleased track by far is a rarely played track called Quest Vault. Now, I want to preface this video by stating that Quest Vault is unlikely to be the actual name of the track. The name came from a now edited Virtual Riot Instagram reel with him name-dropping the track in the description. However, he later edited the post to remove it. This was at a time when the track was in a pretty bare-bones demo state, and I'd say it's likely that the track was meant to be on Quest for Fire. However, it was put into the hypothetical vault, as it was nowhere near finished, and Sonny probably felt like it didn't fit the album. The only other name I've seen someone refer to it as is Do You Know Who I Am, due to the shouting vocal at the start of the track. Which I can believe could be what the track is called eventually if it comes out. Quest Vault is a track that dates back to 2022 and was debuted by Virtual Riot at Lost Lands, with him continuing to play it in his sets today. From what I can gather, this is most likely a mashup Virtual Riot made, with the build being from Quest Vault. The first drop is likely something Virtual Riot made which samples Skrillex's song Leave Me Like This, and the second build and drop is an older version of the second half of the Skrillex track I'll mention in a bit.
Alright, next time I got something very special for you.
Bitch, we be gonna run this.
The only things to note about this version is that the build which it starts with is a longer version of the build in the version Skrillex played at Hijinx in 2023, as well as the one ISOxo played at EDC in 2024. However, the vocal part in the middle of the track was used in the demo version Skrillex would play later that year. Later in 2022, at Porter Robinson's Second Sky Festival, Skrillex himself debuted a full demo of the track at the time, which was quite different to what Virtual Riot played, with effectively one long drop after the long build-up, with the track evolving over the course of its length, with new elements being added in until eventually Skrillex transitioned out of the track during the same vocal part that is in the version Virtual Riot plays. The build at the start is a much more rudimentary version of the more fleshed out build that is in all the other versions of this track that we have and would later hear. While we will likely never get this version in high quality, as Second Sky 2022 wasn't live streamed, there were a few phone recordings of Skrillex's set, and using AI, people have been able to upscale the audio from the phone recordings so it sounds almost studio quality.
This bitch video. Let's go, go, just go, just go, go, just go, crowd, let's go, go, just go, go, just go, crowd, let's go, just go, go, just go, crowd, let's go, just go. Sold out, Patron. Every time I sing, it's a sing along.
Now we come to my favourite version of the track that's been played, the version Skrillex played at Hijinx in December 2023. This version was a drastic update from the previous version, with a proper intro sampling Sunny's voice from Hazel theme off of Quest for Fire, as well as the way more fleshed out build-up from the virtual Riot version, as well as the addition of the "Do You Know Who I Am" vocals I mentioned earlier, and that's just the changes done to the intro. The drop is completely different, with different drums, vocal samples, structure, and is far longer. Give it a listen. Skrillex also put in a new vocal sample. Instead of using the "go, let's go, let's go" vocal sample, he changed it to use a Brazilian vocal sample, which from what I can tell is effectively lost media as to where it originated from. It's likely from an old Brazilian vocal sample pack recorded in the 2000s by MCDs. However, the closest thing I can find to being an original unaltered sample of it, or likely where it could have been sampled from, was DJ P7 and MC Gil. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that.
E o tambozão rola, a mulherada gosta, e o DJ solta, e o DJ solta.
Personally, however, I think it's most likely Skrillex sampled it from Luke Da Duke and Chopper Dunk's Gosta, which came out in 2017 and sounds almost identical to the way it does in Questfold. The sample is also used in Tiesto and Mosca's song Accordion. While on the topic of samples, if this song were to come out tomorrow, it would be the 5th song in Skrillex's discography to feature the melody he's used in so many songs since 2023, such as Leave Me Like This, Don't Leave Me Like This, Hazel Theme, and Still Here With the Ones That I Came With. Later at the start of 2024, ISOxo would get involved with the track, playing a new version of it at EDC in Mexico on the 25th of February. This version feels more like ISO cut up the track and shuffled some parts around, since there's not a lot that's different sonically. However, structurally, it's quite different, and personally, I find it to be inferior from the version Skrillex played at Hijinx. This seems to be the latest version though, since Skrillex played this one on his Instagram stories in February 2024, and Anti-Up later played it in their Coachella set that year too. To To this day, this is the best audio recording of the track. Even though it has some anti-up tags in there, I was able to pretty easily cut them out by swapping some parts around. In 2025, we got some interesting developments. First was that Virtual Riot's version of Quest Vault leaked, along with a few other unreleased Skrillex tracks. This leak happened a few days before Skrillex announced and released his next big project. When Skrillex released the Fuck You Skrillex album/mixtape, there was a track on there called Andy. This was the track I was referring to earlier when I talked about Virtual Riot's version of Quest Vault. Andy is one of the few tracks on the album that is 2 tracks in one, with the first half being Andy and the second half being the second half of Virtual Riot's version of Quest Vault. The version on Fuck You Skrillex is updated, however, as the build has been changed along with the snare, and the drop isn't nearly as long as the demo Virtual Riot has been playing. Although fun fact, the vocals from the track are resampled from an old unreleased Bibi Borelli and Kalani song that Skrillex produced called Chillin'.
Sold out, dope strong. Every time I sing, it's a sing-along. Sold out, Patron. Got a bad mouth, but my money long. Stay down, stay hot. Millie on my mind, but I don't rock. Stay down, don't stop. When I bring him out, it's a whole block.
This is also the song where the main vocal lead thing from Butterflies is from, which is chopped and pitched vocal samples from Imogen Heap Hide and Seek. Oh yeah, and back to Fuck You Skrillex, one other thing of note is that you can hear the start of the Quest Vault build 39 seconds into Jungundra. It's only brief, but it's there. That's pretty much all for Quest Vault at this point. However, before I go, I do want to shout out a few cool bootlegs of Andy that I've heard since Fuck You Skrillex's release. As is customary with Skrillex, anything he puts out gets remixed by tons of people, and for Andy, I want to shout out RUSTHOL's Garage bootleg. As well as more Kismet's bootleg, which switches the track around, playing the Quest Vault part first, followed really smoothly by the Andy drop in the second half. And also I'd like to shout out the Delta Orb bootleg, which has such a heavenly outro by twisting the Quest Vault part into a bright future bass style drop, ending with a beautiful piano. Now, like my video on G Jones and Virtual Self, I want to give you guys something that isn't just a breakdown and analysis of this track. I also want to give you a remake I made of Quest Vault, specifically the version Skrillex played at Hijinx in 2023. As far as I know, no one else has remade this track. Now, I want to mention that this version isn't entirely accurate, as Skrillex transitioned out of the track before the outro. So I made an outro that I felt could realistically work and be more than just a DJ-friendly outro. So I added in the Hazel theme parts from the intro and used them to make an outro I'm actually satisfied with. And I hope you guys like it too.
Guys, sorry, like... One more minute of this.
Do not want time. There's our finding. What I cockroach. Do not abandon your quest.
That's all really for Quest Vault. If at some point the song does release, in whatever form, I will probably make a follow-up video analysing it and how it compares to the older versions I talked about in this video. Aside from that, if you subscribe and message me on Discord, I'll send you the remake. Make sure you do subscribe though, I will be checking. If you liked this video, go check out my previous video where I went over the history and different versions of Xena from Quest for Fire. And with that, have a good one.